Greetings! Welcome to Sunday Morning Announcements with the Jocelyn Gray avatar. If you're with us on Facebook or YouTube, please subscribe to get notifications when we have new videos. If you're with us on Zoom, say hi in the chat. We'd love to say hello back. If you're with us in person, hello everybody here! And if this is your first visit, please sign the guest book either in the lobby or online at oakcliffuu.org/guest. The service today, on Christmas Eve, features stories from several of our members, holiday songs, and a cookie communion. We hope you can stick around after the service today for Talkback, where we gather in a circle and discuss the service. Maybe you have your own holiday stories to tell? For those online, see the Zoom chat at the end of the service for the meeting information. There are no meetings after church today or this week. Adult Religious Exploration with Sarah Ricke is not meeting today. It will return in January. The Social Justice Ministry Reading Group will also resume in January with a new book. If you have any questions, email Mavis at sjm@oakcliffuu.org. Our Widening the Circle of Concern work group, which normally meets on Mondays, is not meeting on Christmas Day or New Year's Day, but will return January 8th. The group can still be reached at wcoc@oakcliffuu.org. This past week, the WCOC work team hosted a guest from Westside UU and shared information about planning for our January Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion workshop. An online registration form will be available soon, but feel free to mark your calendars now. Saturday, January 27th from 9 a.m. to noon in Charity North. There will be coffee and pastries available before we meet that morning, so doors will actually open around 8:30 a.m. Keep watching your eBlast newsletter for more info. Note that our White Accountability Group meetings will move to once a month, starting in January. Watch your eBlast for details. At the meeting last Sunday, we continued to address the issue of appropriation and discuss the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day parade on January 15th. Church members often express interest in participating in the parade, and the regret that, in recent years, we have not. Maybe this year will be different. Stay tuned for updates. Next Sunday, New Year's Eve, December 31st, our 10 a.m. service is What Is Left Behind, followed by an end-of-year kickback party potluck. More information on all of this can be found on the back of your order of service and in the weekly e-blast. Not receiving the e-blast? Just sign up at oakcliffuu.org/enews. It's that easy. One more thing. A shout out to all who helped make our winter solstice celebration last Friday a big success. Thank you to the grounds cleanup and prep crew. The labyrinth looked wonderful. Sarah's winter solstice ritual was very well received, with plenty of audience participation. Folks enjoyed weaving the earth loom, and we had storytelling in the gazebo. It was a great night. Let's do it again next year. That's it for now. Happy holidays to everyone, and see you next Sunday.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff. Let us begin our sacred work by lighting our chalice with this blessing from Reverend Linda Hart, this eve of mystery. We kindle a small flame in the dark of the year, remembering the promise of life abundant, of a possible peace. We pause on this eve of mystery to tell the stories, to sing the songs, and to bring more light into the world. opening words, Blue Christmas, This Too Belongs by Reverend Carrie Kopic. The mantra, This Too Belongs, is from a talk by respected Buddhist teacher Tara Brach, used with gratitude and appreciation. The sound of rain, not cheerful songs, a quiet rocking chair, not traditions of the season, the early sunset, not dancing lights, loss, tender heart, hollow souls, heavy days. Grief is welcome, a sacred part of the mourning, of the bereft, of the weeping, amidst the celebrating. This too belongs. This too is holy. It binds us to our ancestors, the earth, the stars, yet still a steaming mug of tea warms the belly. The dog wags its tail and the cat purrs. There are laughter and tears, sometimes both, beside the joy. This too belongs. Sharing human suffering is connection. Hearts, like stones, are held by all that is grief and light, intertwined. This too belongs. In our community, we take time each week to share what is in our hearts and on our minds. If your heart is heavy today, know that you don't have to carry that heartache alone. Together, we can offer comfort. Please share your sorrows publicly by posting them in the Zoom chat, or send them to our Facebook Messenger, or speak them aloud. We also share our joys with one another, knowing that joy calls unto joy, amplified. Together, our voices can rise in a chorus of celebration. Please share your joys publicly by posting them to the Zoom chat, or send them to our Facebook Messenger, or speak them aloud. Welcome to the UU Church of Oak Cliff. Here, we seek to build a community where what you believe is less important than how your beliefs guide and inform your participation in the world. Ours is a community that strives to value the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. To our returning visitors, we are so happy you have joined us again. We know your time is precious, and we're honored to have you here today. We would also like to extend a warm welcome to any of you who are joining us for the first time, and we do have some here today. We recognize the bravery it takes to come into a new place, and we're glad you're here. Ours is a covenantal church, Latin for come together. Covenant means a solemn agreement or promise from the heart regarding a course of action between parties. The practice of promising to walk together is the core of our faith. Simply put, it is a guide for the behavior we expect from ourselves and each other. We are bound together by the promises we make to one another, and we recite our covenant during every worship service. Because we love one another, we honor each individual's spiritual journey. We celebrate life's abundance in service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together.
Porque nos amamos uno al otro, honoramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio a entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y acepción. Así que hacemos pacto.
We are doing holiday reflections today. Several of our members are going to tell some of their Christmas stories, and then we'll have Sarah. Bobby is up first.
If you see us looking up in the heavens periodically, we're not looking for divine inspiring. We're looking at our electronic guru for cues to start. My name is Bobby Blanche, and I thought about what I was going to say today, and I was going to regale you with an event that happened when my kids were little. Now they're very big. My husband and I had gone to his sister's for Christmas. And we spent Christmas morning there. They live south of Houston. And we lived in Lubbock. So when we left an empty house. No gifts for the kids, no stockings filled. We decided to go home on Christmas noon. And we drove all night. And the kids were asleep in the back seat. This was before seat belts were required. Anyway, we got to the house, and I had to go in the house and put gifts around the tree and fill the stockings. So the oldest son woke up and he said, I want to go in. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. And I said, I have to check the house out first to see if it's safe. I couldn't think of anything else to say. So I ran in. The kids stayed in the car with my husband. And I frantically put gifts all over under the tree, filled the stockings with apples and oranges and nuts and toys. And in the meanwhile, my son was saying, I want to go to bed. It was 3:00 in the morning. I came out and I said, okay, you can go in now. The house is safe. They went to bed. They didn't even look. I was going to tell you this story, but I changed my mind. I decided to tell you a different story. when my oldest son was, he was probably 14, and we got he got a motorcycle for Christmas. So when he got up the next morning and he was very happy, it was a little Honda 100. I don't know much about motorcycles, but it was small. So he got on it and drove it around our country blocks, which were very long, quarter of a mile at least. He drove around the corner and he came back and drove in the driveway, and he was very happy. And I said, "Let me try." I could hold that one up. So I got on the bike, put the helmet on, and proceeded to drive around that same long country block. I was tootling along and feeling very pleased with myself because I was doing something I'd never done before. Pulled up into the driveway, turned around, and there was a patrol car with his lights doing this. Well, that was a surprise. I never heard him. I never saw him. He said I ran a stop sign. I couldn't argue with him. Nobody was around me. I probably just kind of slowed down and cruised through. I got a ticket. Well, I have to sum up my little stories. Last week, a friend of mine and I went out to eat for lunch. And it was the day before my Social Security payday. So I mentioned to her, I said, "Well, I'm using my last $20 to eat out today, so I get paid tomorrow." And unbeknownst to me, there was a guy sitting next to us, and you know those little devices they have on the tables for you to pay your bill? Well, the waitress took our little device to the next table. I thought briefly in my head, "Oh my gosh, his must not be working." He paid our bill. Pay it forward. Guys, Merry Christmas. Pay it forward.
It all began with a newspaper story about Dallas waterways, creeks, springs, and ponds that have been paved over and lost as the city grew. I remembered a favorite spring of my brother and mine and decided to go look for it. It was a special spring, one believed to have healing properties. I didn't find it, of course, but I could tell where it had been. It had been along Oak Lawn near the Shriners Hospital for what we would not say now, crippled children, and where a hilltop that would become a Budweiser sign a few years later. It was a brass-colored fountain, about waist high for most adults. Children had to be held up by an adult to drink from it. Its healing properties came from a very mineral taste. Not a bad taste, but very clearly minerally. And as a child, I also thought it felt oily, but that may have been just my imagination. Like a lot of Texas springs, it often dried up in summer. When the fall rains began, the fountain would have water again. There was never a long line there, but there were often 6 or 8 people filling up glass milk jugs to take home. For many families, it was a sort of ritual between Christmas and New Year, when they had extra time off. The water could be kept and bottled until it was needed. Since then, Stemmons Freeway has expanded to cover all trace of the fountain. Across Oak Lawn, large market centers sprawl all along the freeway. But I won't pass that intersection again without thinking of that special spring. And behind me, you see my little brother and I at one of our family Christmases. I think maybe he was 2 and I was 4, but I'm not certain.
It's sort of a story about family and gullibility, naivete. So let's go back to me when I was about 7 or 8. When I was 7, actually, I started taking dance lessons. I know. And they weren't going that well. What I really wanted to do was take horseback riding lessons. And my mother said I couldn't do both. Well, that was an easy decision. So when I was 7, I started taking riding lessons. And pretty quickly, that became a favorite horse of mine. And this was, it was a long time ago, about 60 years ago. Scott, you could go ahead and bring up the first photo. I was a little older then. So yeah. Ignore the freckled redhead blowing the bubble, because she would soon get braces and not be able to chew gum for 4 years, and actually made it until the very last week, and then she caved. But anyway, my family was pretty dysfunctional. Folks were distanced from each other in the previous generation. Didn't know my grandparents on one side. Only learned later that, how much my mother's mother didn't like my dad, what she felt about their marriage. And somehow I was spared all of that. There was alcoholism in both sides of the family. I was mainly protected from that. And so my Christmas story is about how my parents put all of that aside, and they did this every Christmas. Somehow they kept the magic of Christmas for me. My grandmother did. The alcoholic grandparents on the other side, I don't really remember, except they had sort of a small farm, and they always had chickens running around, and you had to watch where you stepped. But anyway, this was a really short version in my head, so bear with me. This barn, if you can see the barn, I really wanted you to focus on the barn. Because about this time, my mother had told me that she was leasing this horse. It was my favorite horse. And I didn't, 7 or 8, I didn't know what that meant, but it did mean that I was the only one who got to ride this horse. And I was so gullible, so naive. I guess it was the day before Christmas. We went out to the barn, and we were going to say, Merry Christmas to this horse. And so if you can just picture, it was actually kind of snowing, sleeting. It was really cold and gray like today. Big gray barn. And so if you just picture, kind of crunching across the ground from where we parked, going into the barn. We were the only ones there. And somehow my mother had stalled me, and my dad snuck around to the backside entrance. And when I walked in to say hi, Merry Christmas to this horse, he had a bow on his forelock, a red Christmas bow. Y'all are supposed to say, "Aw." Oh, that was good. That was really good. It's like, okay, what's this about? Merry Christmas, Kathy. This is your horse now. And yeah, I don't know, did they know that this horse would be with me for the next 10 years and be my soulmate? If y'all had animals who you felt like were your soulmates? And let's see, what's the next picture we have up? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's me sharing my Coke with the horse. He was just the best horse. And he saw me through, a few years after this, my parents were divorced, and that was really nasty. And then my mother remarried, and that was really nasty. And I had this horse. I could escape and spend time with my soulmate, and the horse got me through a lot. And so my parents did that. They rose above their differences, especially that Christmas. And it's a very clear memory. At least I think I remember it that way. So thank you. That's pretty much my story. Oh, my daughter's going like this. Yeah. I thank you for listening to me ramble.
Sarah has a treat for us now.
So for those of you who don't know, I'm not Christian. I am very, very pagan. And so Christmas is a little bit weird for me. So what do I do as a pagan for Christmas? What do I do as a UU for Christmas? Two very interesting questions with two very different answers, actually. So I don't know why it says story on the sermon. It's not a story. It's more of a sermon today. So if you were here last Sunday, or you managed to catch it online, you might know that some of the answers to the first question, what do I do as a pagan for Christmas? Honestly, I mostly just sit back and enjoy it with a bittersweet sense of affection. Most of the modern decorations, like wreaths and Christmas trees and lights and traditions like Santa Claus and gift giving, they all come from a variety of pagan traditions from all over Europe and honestly all over the world in some cases. Globalism does have its perks. So it's nice to still see all of those traditions practiced in their roundabout sort of way, even if I have to be careful myself of when and where I celebrate. And for the record, I do love this church so much for giving me and others on a similar faith path a safe place to celebrate the winter solstice. Our Yule ritual was a blast. So if you get a chance to go outside, if you feel like braving the rain, you should definitely go out and check on the earth loom today. It was properly decked out for the seasons. It's lovely. It's very festive. So Christmas for me is kind of like a late Yule celebration. I've had my holiday. I'm waiting around for the rest of you to catch up. My family still celebrates Christmas, though. Not necessarily religiously, but they do celebrate it. So I'm waiting around for them. So while I don't celebrate Christmas, I am the Christmas witch auntie. And I am imbued with special powers just for my nephews. My sister and I agree that I have a special line of communication with Santa, and thus the ability to grant permission for just one, early Christmas present opening for my nephews. I might have done that this year, and let me tell you, the FaceTime video of my 5-year-old nephew geeking out and jumping for joy because Santa came early because Aunt Sarah sent him. Very fun. Very fun. All the rest of the presents have to wait until the 25th. But Santa's willing to deliver just a few extra presents early for me. Don't question it. It brings my 5-year-old nephew entirely too much joy. And I do love spoiling my nibblings, so. But personally, Christmas itself doesn't mean all that much to me anymore in a spiritual sense. Not as a pagan. But then we get to the second question. What do I do as a UU for Christmas? And honestly, that answer is even more complicated. Christmas to me is not about honoring Yeshua of Nazareth being born in Bethlehem. If I could do that in any meaningful way, it would be to stop the egregious and genocidal bombardment of the city and the region that is currently ongoing. It would be to protect the people and the culture that have existed there in the region for over a millennia. It would be to protect innocent children and their mothers and their fathers from a government that wants them dead just for being different than the people currently in charge. So this Christmas is poignantly and painfully tragic in the worst and most ironic way possible. So the current conflict aside, because I could be here all morning talking about it, I do have to admit that when it comes to Christmas, I have long come to appreciate the Unitarian Universalist approach to the man we now call Jesus. So Unitarian Universalism, for those of you unfamiliar with the history, is a mashup of two different faiths that came together. Universalists believe that no matter what, everyone's going to heaven because we are all worthy and we are all divine, and quite frankly, I love them for that. Unitarianism is the tradition, the belief that God is a singular entity. It's in defiance of the Trinity that is so common in most other Christian sects. Now, from my own polytheistic traditions, we do have triple-faced deities with multiple personas, as well as multiple gods. So the Trinity, the God, the Father, God, the Son, and God, the Holy Spirit, was a little bit amusing once I branched out in my own religious research. But it never made much sense to me from the monotheistic point of view that Christianity is supposed to be. Unitarians, I think, had a much better take on it. God was God. Jesus might have been his son, or just a very important prophet with a very important message, but Jesus was never God. Jesus' message was important, and he was a powerful spiritual teacher. But Jesus himself said that he was not here to be worshipped. Jesus was not here to be divine. No, instead, Jesus was here to call back humanity, to call them back into communion with the divine, to give us a path back to the Holy Spirit, God, or whatever you want to call it. And in doing so, to give us a path to being better ourselves, to ourselves, and to each other. And today we are gathered here to do just that. Now, I'm never going to be someone to quote scriptures at people. There's enough of them floating around on an everyday basis, and the holidays ramp that up about 10 times worse than usual. So I don't feel any need to add to that. But as a person who has, in fact, read several versions of the Christian Bible, I want to say that I do appreciate the values that Jesus taught, because those values ultimately boil down to a message of love. Jesus spoke of love, compassion, and justice, of advocacy and rebellion against repression, of common humanity no matter the conflict. And those values, for me, as a Unitarian Universalist, make Christmas worthy of still being celebrated. So in honor of the holiday today, for Christmas Eve Day, I invite you all to join me in our cookie communion. If we can pass these around, please. Everybody, please take a cookie and hold on to it. Don't eat it just yet. And we have tons more out on the snack table outside if you feel the need for more cookies. We've got chocolate, we've got ginger snaps, we've got all sorts of things on that plate. Please take a cookie. Please take a cookie for our cookie communion. So now that everyone has a cookie, don't want to talk with my mouth full. So now that everyone has a cookie, I want you to take a moment and hold your cookie in both hands and close your eyes. Because today I invite you all to join me in a moment of silence. A moment of silence to honor the prophet Yeshua, born of Mary in Bethlehem all those centuries ago, the best way I know how. Take a moment and reflect on his lessons of love and justice, on his calls for humanity, on his calls to realign ourselves with the holy, to join together in communion, all of us, loving unconditionally as we ourselves have been loved. So as you hold your cookie today, let us be grateful for the love that we have received. Let us commit ourselves to sharing that love passionately and unapologetically with the rest of the world. And let us take a moment to pray that the world too will return that love and resound with comfort and joy, with liberty and justice and peace for all humankind. Amen and blessed be. Please eat your cookies.
Before I do my speaking piece, I ask that you join me, if you're willing and able to, in reciting our Widening the Circle of Concern covenant that we added about 2 years ago, year and a half. Time meant nothing. Well, never will again. Because we do want to be mindful each and every week of work that we have dedicated ourselves to at this point. So the Widening the Circle of Concern covenant is on your order of worship, and the words will also appear on the screen. We, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff, commit ourselves to the study and dismantling of racism and oppression within our congregation. We commit our congregation and ourselves to the work of anti-racism and anti-oppression. We commit ourselves to listening, to learning, and to action. When we fail, we commit ourselves to trying again and again. We covenant to begin this work and to continue until all of us can truly say we are a beloved community of justice, equity, and compassion. My Widening the Circle moment, and because we do have guests in the house, Widening the Circle of Concern is the title of a study that was done at the national level several years ago that started taking a look at how we need to work on ourselves as a denomination, and we have taken up that work in this congregation. And so, okay, let's see. A lot of times in this moment, I read a piece by a UU of color and lift up their voices in our congregation. This week is last. I have written something. Next week or the week after, I will probably lift up somebody else's writing, because this is work, y'all. My admiration for the people who take the pulpit on a regular basis knows no bounds at this point, that they can put the things together that they do. I want to talk to you about Scott, Black Santa. Dallasite Larry Jefferson, aka Santa Larry, made national news in 2016 as the first Black Santa ever hired at the Mall of America in Minnesota. Most of the coverage, however, was not about how very well received he was by the kids and parents of all races who loved visiting with him at the mall. Instead, it was the online backlash of vile, hateful, racist commentary that made the news. Responses to the original feel-good story in the Minneapolis Star-Tribune became so nasty and abusive that the paper shut down online comments on the article. But, of course, haters found other places to spew their nonsense. The short answer to what the heck is wrong with some people is white supremacy culture. A longer, much more detailed answer can be found in a scholarly article by E. James West, a lecturer in arts and sciences at University College London and co-director of the Black Press Research Collective at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. Searching for Black Santa, the contested history of an American holiday tradition, is available online. Yes, the internet is good for some things. And we will make the link available as part of this recording. It is a very long article, but it was fascinating. In the article, Dr. West opens with a reminder of what happened in December 2013, when Black journalist Aisha Harris published an essay in Slate magazine about the holiday season that prompted Fox News personality Megyn Kelly to stick both feet in her mouth, saying, by the way, for all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white. And following up a minute and a half later with, Jesus was a white man too. West goes on to say that Kelly's assertion can be situated within a longer history of white investment in the racial identity of Santa Claus, that so many white Americans have remained invested in Santa's racial identity betrays their commitment to whiteness as a default within American society. It also reveals a profound anxiety of and animosity towards depictions that would complicate the perceived authenticity of Santa's racial dominance. He then explores the complex politics of Black Santas in the United States from the antebellum period to the present day, by detailing, with numerous examples and citations, 6 aspects of how things have shifted over time. In Slavery, Santa, and the Benign Plantation, West talks about how, when white Southerners showed any holiday largesse, it was primarily motivated by paternalistic attitudes and a desire to bolster the myth of white benevolence. In a section on the prevalence of minstrel shows and blackface in the urban North, both before and after the Civil War, West brings attention to the ways in which these entertainments worked to undermine belief in Black social and political equality. In the third section, West writes about how, early in the 20th century, Black Americans began to formulate their own versions of the character of Santa Claus, prompted in no small part by the desires of their children to feel included in American holiday traditions. By the 1930s, prominent Black entertainers and celebrities began to lean into the idea, and within a few years, Santas played by Black people had begun to appear in Baltimore, Chicago, and other cities across the nation. The remaining sections of the article offer fascinating and infuriating details about the continued evolution of the role of Black Santas in American culture. West concludes with discussion of the Santa Larry Mall of America story and this summation. In different guises, the Black Santa has functioned as an emblem of white supremacy, a vehicle for racial uplift, an arbiter of racial goodwill, a symbol of civil rights protest, a Black power icon, a spokesman for commercial interests, a champion of multicultural inclusion. The Black Santa continues to be a touchstone for broader debates about racial politics, cultural inclusion, consumer capitalism, and national identity in the modern United States. And I will conclude with this. Fortunately, what happened in 2016 hasn't stopped Mall of America from bringing back Santa Larry each year. And last year, they expanded the cast of their annual Santa Experience event to include a second Black Santa, Santa Pat, and their first ever bilingual Santas. Santa Herman speaks both English and Spanish, and Santa Alan speaks English and Cantonese. For those who believe, as I do, that a beloved community is an inclusive community, and in the idea of Santa Claus as a powerful symbol for inspiring more kindness, generosity, and whimsy in the world, that's good news for all of us. Thank you.
Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place that is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. Members, if you are contributing cash toward your pledge, please use an envelope from the basket and write your name on it. To text your donation, see the number on your order of service, 214-225-5996. For more options, see oakcliffuu.org.
Así compartimos y vivimos hoy. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy.
Our closing words are by Reverend Mary Gear, A Christmas Blessing. The story tells of a woman heavy with child, traveling with her partner to be counted in a census declared by a distant ruler, unaware of the lives disrupted or the life that is to come. May those in power open their minds and hearts to the impact of their actions on others, and especially those who are unseen and unprotected. The story tells of too many people and not enough housing, so that the couple shelters in a stable with the animals. May we know that there can be enough housing for all, housing that offers comfort, warmth, and home. The story tells of a baby born on a cold night, the birthing cries of unrecorded, perhaps unheard, a child swaddled, loved, and warmed by his parents and the animals in the stable. May the cries of all mothers be heard, and may all children born into this world be welcomed, warmed, and loved. The story tells of a star bright in the night sky, heralding a message of new life, pointing the way to light, toward hope. May we have glimpses of the stars on these long, dark nights, and may we see in the starlight a message of life, of light, of hope. May this be so. Blessings to you on this holiday season.
Joy to the world, the word is come. Let earth with praises ring. Let every heart prepare a room. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, now gladness reigns. Let hearts their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. No more let sin and sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground. Let righteousness its glory show, as far as love is found, as far as love is found, as far as love is found.
We extinguish our chalice now with this benediction from Reverend Maureen Killeran. It is time now to depart, to go forward to our lives and to the world. May joy be your companion, whether you are with others or alone. May love be your strength, and may the gift of community dwell in your heart. For here in this place you will be welcome always, whenever you choose, whenever you need.